Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I want to make some analysis of some mainstream media articles that I thought they were important. And I will start with the first one from The Insider by Jake Epstein from February 25th, 2022. And the title goes like this: European Union freezes assets of Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov. Okay. And we find out that the European Union it's Latvia's foreign minister made the announcement on Friday as Russia pushes towards Kiev. All right, well, they do this. This foreign minister. I think he's also aware that if he steps out of line, or if his country steps out of line of the its masters orders, the same thing could happen to him. So he lives in a very fine system. But he's probably the same. He's what can you do? Latvia, okay. But if I remember correctly, just to mention how Latvia, how tough Latvia is, after the dissolution of Soviet Union and the Baltic states gain Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania gain independence. Um, all these three countries had a big, massive number of Russian people in their country. And one of these countries, I think it was Latvia, who had about 40 some percent Russian nationals over there. And when these countries, the three of them that I mentioned, the Baltic states, became independent, they uphold the democratic system, democratic values, and all that, freedom and independence and democracy and all that. But this is what they did. They prevented the Russian population to vote in the elections. You know why? Because the population, the Russian population living in their country, was 40 some percent. So you can imagine if those guys would form one party on, I don't know, ethnic, you know, on ethnic, values, let's say, Russian, Latvian, Russian party, they would have won the elections. So they banned it. So I haven't heard United States or any of these human rights big at that time. Remember, this was what 1991, 92, 93 that time. So nobody screamed anything, human rights, democracy. So this is what they did. One of these countries, the Baltic states, it was Latvia or Lithuania. I think it was Latvia. But nevertheless, just so you know, these guys, what they did then, and now they are, you know, under the jurisdiction of the so-called European Union slash United States. So Latvia. Okay, well, they can freeze Putin's and Lavrov's assets in Europe. Okay, that's fine. I haven't heard any of these guys going to the I don't know the any French town where they have villas or I don't know Monte Carlo having three casinos or something. So I don't know what assets they I don't know what they own over there. Nevertheless, I don't think it's important to these guys. But just saying the same thing. What's his name? Uh, Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada did with those truckers, the guys that protested against his uh, so-called mandates, which let's put them differently, you know, edicts, orders to wear masks, to get vaccinated, all that. So these guys blocked Ottawa, the downtown, one street and two bridges. They were just, freed after they put the police on that and so on. So he already did what martial law over there, and then he froze the accounts of protesters. So that can happen to you. That can happen to me. Well, yeah, I'm not pointing that out that Russia or Putin or Lavrov are good, But if these guys are able to institute this kind of sanctions, they could institute on anybody. That's what's important. Like right now, they try to. I'm going to read an article regarding the mask mandates and so on. Uh, I will go next to that one, but right now let's go to the week. Grayson Query. It's February 26th, 2022, and it says GOP Representative Adam Kinzinger calls for U.S. enforced no-fly zone over Ukraine. Okay, Adam, with people with an attention span and a memory longer than 2 minutes, we remember there were no. I will talk first factual and then just from a moral or legal standpoint. Factual. I remember when Gaddafi agreed to have a no-fly zone in Libya, instituted by the NATO, which didn't have anything to do with Libya, right? What happened with Gaddafi at the end? So his army could not fight. Air Force could not fight a so-called revolution against him. So he died. All right. And next one, there was a no-fly zone. I remember he was Saddam Hussein. Oh, where is Saddam Hussein? What happened to him? So you want to institute no-fly zone? I wouldn't do that. I mean, just look at those two examples. Whenever the Americans instituted no-fly zones on someone else's country, like Iraq and Libya, without authority, without legal authority, those leaders died in the end. I'm not saying Zelensky is going to die because Zelensky is on their payroll. But, and then is the legal stuff. Kinzinger, you have nothing to say. Nothing. You have nothing. It's none of your business if Ukraine or Romania or whoever fights with whom. And you have no power to institute any no-fly zones over any other country, as any other country has no right to institute a no-fly zone over your country, unless you're a dictator and you think you have power, which he thinks. But that's the mentality of this guy. Let's read here. No, actually, he's a Republican, so idiot, because Republicans and Democrats here in the United States are the same guys with a little bit like one is wearing a mustache. So they're both twins, biological twins, identical twins, but one of them wears a mustache. They say you are different than the other one. That's the only difference. They have the same parents who sends them to the bathroom, to send them to go to bed tonight, to do their homework. The same parents, but one is wearing a mustache and the other one is not, and we have two different parties. Okay, so yeah, this guy is just whatever. So he wants to declare a no fly zone because he can. These guys have no ability of self reflection. They don't have self awareness. They live in an alternate reality. That's why their decisions are wrong, and then the consequences are surprising, and they don't understand how those consequences could be so surprising when they made this decision. It's because they made the wrong assessments, because they have their truth. That's what I say, my truth. That's your subjective interpretation of reality around you. It works to a certain extent, but then it should be an objective reality. I mean, I can take a piece of paper and drop it, and it's going to be, the gravity, and my truth could be, no, it's not. It's just it flew upwards, but ultimately it went down. I mean, you can be relativistic or whatever, say, no, actually it was like this because if I turn like this, it went up, and so you can do that. But reality, it went down. It fell, right? Back to the planet, back to the surface. All right, so we have here a Reuters article. Adrius Citas, February 26, 2022. It goes like this. Lithuania, one of those Baltic countries that feel important or something, but I think they're very good strategically. Lithuania. I mean, if you go back in history, I don't even, I'm not going to start that. That's for later. Lithuania closed its airspace to Russia airlines, ending direct flights to Kaliningrad enclave. Okay, you Lithuania, you do this or this, not because, why would you do that? Order? You're going to sanction Russia? They're not going to forget you. They're not going to forget you. But it's okay. You can take action. It's your prerogative. But then the Russians going to do something back to you. I don't want to hear you cry. I mean, you go and flicker someone on his nose, and the other one is just going to jump on you with both feet on your head. And then you're going to start crying because it's not proportional. But you started it. You sanctioned them. What did they do to you? They did to someone. Is that you? Is that you, or by association now? Now, by association, I can empathize with this and that and act in their names. You picked a side. Now be prepared for a reaction from the person that you did something to that person, and not expect it to be a flicker back. Why would it be? All right. So it says here that they stopped Lithuania is the shortest route from mainland Russia to its Kaliningrad enclave, sandwiched between NATO members Lithuania and Poland on the Baltic Sea's eastern coast. The ban would force Russian flights to take a longer detour via the Baltic Sea. Okay, all right. They're not going to forget you, even if you will want. All right, it says here the insider, Taylor Ardrey, February 26, 2022. It says Russian officials warn Finland and Sweden of serious military and political retaliation if they join NATO. Well, it's how do you call it? Security. If I would have my neighbors all of a sudden get weapons pointed at me, I should be okay with that. I tell them, you're too close. I don't have weapons pointed at you. You point at me, I'm going to take care of stuff if it's like that. I mean, it's just I'm analyzing these guys' moves, and they will, have consequences. And when the consequences are going to materialize, they will start crying. And then the population, the audience, and their mass media, corporate mass media, and their lackeys, they will again use the 3 minutes attention span without considering this or that into the conversation. They will just want you to remember just 3 minutes back. That's it. No more than that. And if you remember more, preferably avoid the uncomfortable examples that history provides us. That would not be very nice, for certain parts in the whole in a conversation. All right, so it says here that Russian Foreign Minister Maria Zakharova, you should listen to her. You should listen to her, and you should listen to the Raggedy Ann, Jen Psaki. I'm not talking about lying. I'm talking about brains. Because both of them obviously lie, or both of them are, switching and turning, and they have their interest of their government, their employer. But you see difference of brains. One, the American, and then the Russian. Please listen to Zakharova. Listen to her. She's logical. The other one lacks that ability. It says here that Zakharova made the comments. All right, made the comments at a news conference on Friday. The report says, and she said that officials in Russia warned that Finland and Sweden would face, and I'm quoting, serious military and political consequences. And quote, if they joined the NATO, they joined NATO. Okay. Well, there are always risks. Negotiate, talk. All right, what we have here? Oh, we have this interesting. I talked about this yesterday, I think. And it's about that what happened in Texas with the so-called trans youth rights, and it's coming from Yahoo Entertainment. David Artavia, February 24th, 2022, and it says like this: Elliot Page Lynda Carter. I don't know who these guys, two actors. I know them both, but just and more. That's more. And that's Elliot Page, Lynda Carter, and more react to Texas's inhumane trans youth order. I'm outraged, says Elliot Page. Okay, I think Elliot Page is the one that all of a sudden said that she's a crocodile and she's not a gazelle, and she is a crocodile right now because she said so. Like tomorrow, I'll say I'm a cloud, and you should take me as a cloud. And if I would say you should address me with God, you should. Otherwise, you hurt my feelings, and you're very intolerant. Okay, so please do that. All right. What if I identify as when I go to work tomorrow, not tomorrow, Monday? I tell to my boss, you know what? From now on, I identify as your boss. So get the fuck up, and you're fired. What's gonna happen? Do you think they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, we respect"? But what if they say, "Yeah, but I also identify as your boss's boss"? So then I fire you. So I say, okay, what if I identify as the governor and I fire you? And okay, but what if I identify as who? You know where I'm going with this? I mean, I can identify. It doesn't mean that if I identify, it's reality. I identify as your boss. I'm going to fire you. I'm going to my supervisor and say, today I'm your supervisor. I identify as your supervisor. What am I going to do about it? Why is it pick and choose? Why only certain things could be identified? What if I identify as 5 years old? Why can't I? What if I identify as a Chinese? A little people. I identify as a little people, Chinese with blue eyes. How about that? All right. Or maybe I think I don't have 2 legs. I identify with I'm a person. I'm a handicapped without legs. Why can't I do that? I mean, it's obvious. The same over here because and you have to respect that. You have to respect that because if you don't respect that, you're inhumane and you're attacking my rights. You don't respect my rights and you're very very intolerant. Okay, please do that. And when is this? When is the boundary, the end of it? And when is it? And why is it only there and for some groups and some people, but not for others? Why not? I identify as a Chinese, an Asian right now, or an Indian. What's wrong with that? With blue eyes and blonde hair and little people without legs. All right. So here it says. Following the news on Tuesday that Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton declared medical care for transgender child abuse under Texas law, directing Texas Department of Family and Protective Services to investigate the use of such treatments. LGBTQ+++ ABC activists and allies are speaking out, including one of the most visible trans voices in the world, Elliot Page. Okay, I just saw the picture. That's why I know who that person is. If you would tell me Elliot Page, I wouldn't have known who that person is. Okay. I said, I'm horrified by the inhumane and downright dangerous declarations by the Texas governor, blah, 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 Page said in a statement to Variety. Trans youth deserve gender affirmation care and to be able to live their true, authentic selves without fear of and oppression. I stand with trans youth and their families. What about my affirmation of my truth? And my truth is that you are not who you say you are. What about my truth? If it's your truth and my truth, why your truth is the real truth and my truth is the wrong truth? Because you think you're on the side of the right. Let's stop with this craziness, okay? I have my values, I have my truth, you have your truth, right? So what are we gonna do? Are we gonna call names one another? Right? Yeah, that's where it's going. Or it's about power. You have the power, you're gonna fire me. You have the power, you're gonna freeze my bank account. You're gonna have power, you're gonna boycott me. You have power, you're not gonna hire me anywhere else because you're gonna make sure that you're gonna let my employers know that this, whoever, and the employer will be of your kind and will do the same thing. Is that how it works? And I won't wanna die. My children are gonna starve. What's that? What's that called? What's that called? Until I accept your religion, your stand, because you say that's the reality. I mean, you see where it's going. And besides, imagine that in a few months things turn around and someone else gets in power with different views than yours, should they do the same thing to you? Unless you think you have the absolute truth in your hands and you're of the highest moral value and there's nothing above you, then you can do that, I guess. But you're not. That's the problem. You are not. And it says here, I've got the what's her name? She's outraged. I think it's child abuse to have someone, a child. I talked about this previous video, to mutilate genitalia mutilation. I explained that with Africa and circumcision and all that religious no reasons and all that. I'm not going to repeat it here. So we have here uh, Lynda Carter. I think she was. I think Tom Jones did a job on her a few times, and I think she was Wonder Woman at one point. Right. So there have been always trans kids. She tells us right here. There have always been trans kids. This is nothing new. Letting them live their truth will save their lives. All right. So if tomorrow I think I am a fish or an aquatic plant, and I want to go in and live and jump in a lake, and that's my truth, and that would eventually kill me. Otherwise, I get crazy and I commit suicide. Which one you would do? For, what would you do for me? Would you let me go because my truth is that I'm an aquatic plant and I'm going to jump in a lake and die? But I leave my truth. Or the second one is, if you don't let me do that, I might commit suicide. And you tell me that I'm not an aquatic plant. What would you do? What do you think is morally moral to do for me? Let me be the aquatic plant or the fish? Or tell me what I am and try to work with me? Which one is it? I don't know. It doesn't have to be only these two options, by the way. I'm open. But let's be reasonable and then let's be adults and real. Okay? So when I hear this, my truth, well, it doesn't work with my truth, because if I go in front of a judge after committing a crime and I tell them my truth is that I didn't steal, but actually that piece of money came into my pocket, just flew and just got into my pocket, the judge will say, yes, that's your truth. That's witness testimony. We take it into consideration. You are not convicted. You're not convicted of anything. Should that work? Then nobody would get convicted. And what if it's my truth when I'm in front of a committee, and let's say I'm investigated for something, or I have to expose something? I say my truth is that I did everything fair, everything right. And whenever they tell me I did something wrong, I would say I will come with my truth, which is gonna be opposite of the truth. Would that be taken into consideration, Lynda Carter? You see how dumb that is? That's children. Only when you're a child, 5-year-old and 6 years old. That's why I said about Piaget. Read about Piaget, his stages of development, the cognitive development in children, and see that these guys are left at the level of 5-year-old. That's where we are. That my truth. What do you mean? If I'm going to school and I'm supposed to do a homework, and he tells me, the teacher, you didn't do a homework, and say my truth is I did it. And they're going to say, okay, that's your truth. That's good. I'm not going to sanction you. Great. Is that how it works? Is that how society will function? Is that how it should? Do you think it would function? These guys need to be slapped. Wake up. Wake up. You know, the shock therapy that used to work back then. Sometimes, you know, when you have a phobia, there's different ways of therapies that you can apply. And the one was the shock therapy, which was what? Put a patient in a room full of spiders. That was one ways. And they're going to have the shock, and might be cured, might not. What do you want? I'm not talking about the electric shocks now. Just so you know, okay? Let's put that to rest for you very thinking people. All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is HuffPost. I don't read this kind of thing, but it just has stupid but revealing titles and articles. It's unbelievable. Why? Because you see how outrageous and how their level of understanding and their audience must be looking at these guys and saying, "Oh yeah, I read an article in Huff Post. Did you read it, Melissa? Oh yeah, I did. Fantastic. Yeah, let me get some latte. Okay, next. It's this. Hillary Hansen, February 26, 2022. Jon Stewart prizes grace of comedian turned president Volodymyr Zelensky. Now, you know, Jon Stewart and uh, Volodymyr Zelensky share certain things in common, they're very related. Not because they're a man, or because they're on planet Earth, or they're biped. It's more than that. So, you know, not only that they're both so-called comedians, just, you know, the right covers the left. And look for this. And he was very graceful. Comedian Jon Stewart expressed admiration and respect on Saturday for Zelensky, who was a successful comedian before being elected Ukraine's president. What is the admiration? What is it? You make people laugh. You're a mime. You're an entertainer. It's fine. It's a job. But is he a thinker? Is he someone who invented something meaningful? It's some what the hell? And he got elected as a president first in Ukraine. Look at their elections and look what happened in 2014 over there with the help of Great Britain and the United States and so on. How the democratically elected president was toppled. You know, it was a that kind of debacle with people that died. Just so you know, people that died, and they say Orange Revolution. It was no orange; it was Red Revolution. Red Revolution. But it worked on these guys' interests. Their mass media reports like that. But if you look a little bit behind the curtain, you find cadavers and other things. Oh, here, this is what I want to talk about. You know, these guys who give our rights back now. It's not about giving our rights back. It's the fact that they dared and they succeeded to take them in the first place. That's what bothers me. And I'm going to read Market Watch. Sierra Linen, February 25th, 2022. CDC expected to loosen COVID face mask advice on Friday, and Canada authorities first plant-based vaccine. So the fact that CDC, with the support of the government, were able to do what they did, this is what, and now they loosen up. They shouldn't be in charge of any of this. And now it's like they give us something that they cannot take. You took something that it was not in your power to take. This is what bothers me, because if they can do it again, if they did it one time, they will do it again and again and again, whenever they want. They don't have to give us logical reasoning or reason or something. They just make one, and the people will fall for it. Remember Goering? What I said about Goering in Robert Kennedy's Crimes Against Nature book? And Robert Kennedy is a Democrat, isn't he? A liberal. On that side, you know, like the Reichstag incident. That's another example. September 11th, the Patriot Act, another example. How they little by little did, and then now they use all those policies and whatever they you want to call them. Now we have here Business Insider by Bethany Byron, February 26, 2022. And this is the title. Germany to send anti-tank weapons and missiles to Ukraine in major reversal of restrictive arms experts policy that marks a turning point for the country. Just so you know, as far as I remember, you can correct me, but if I am at war with my neighbor and there's another neighbor who helps that neighbor with military, with food, with whatever they help, that's my enemy automatically. So that's the thing. If you help these guys with the military, you are my enemy automatically. That's like a declaration of war. So basically, as far as I know, Germany just declared war to Russia. So Russia could just fly one or two planes, or not even, send a few rockets and teach Germany a lesson? Is that what it is? I mean, please correct me. Please correct me if I'm off, but that's how I think it was in the Second World War, at least. That's why they were not supposed to send military equipment, but only food and all this. Americans, the Brits, otherwise they would be at war. That's called some. It's a the term. It escapes me right now. But that's basically what the Germans are doing, aren't they? I mean, you should be neutral. You already picked a side, and you send military equipment. You don't send, I don't know, lollipops and whatever. Just a few pieces, bits of news here, and let me see if I have something else. I don't know. Yeah, I have something else here, but that requires a video. I mean, on its own, it has to be longer than 5 minutes. So this is a longer video, and I don't think I have restrictions now for only 15 minutes or something. So be strong, be smart, look for the truth, and be a just person. So see you next time. Bye bye.